The greatest war of our time isn't fought with weapons, it's fought with sovereignty, and the battlefield is your very way of life. My name is Mashida Shabazz, and I've been living in spiritual communities for the past 7 years, searching for a deeper purpose. That search led me to create the Kshatriya clan, a warrior order dedicated to building, protecting, and serving a global network of spiritual, self-sufficient communities. By the end of this video, you will understand where the real battlefield is and how you can break free from the system. We'll first cover the war on sovereignty. Second is the role of spiritual warriors in this fight. And third is how you can take action now. So number one, the war on sovereignty. How the modern world destroys community and a sense of independence. This has been something really deep with me for such a long time, because I've always, for as long as I can remember, recognized that the way that our system is set up, it just seems like a castle built in sand, and that we were given no real true freedom. Everything is given with strings attached, into where we're forced to build ties to a system that is not meant to be sustainable. And so I've come to realize in my time that this has all been intentionally designed and orchestrated. And so the purpose and goal of the powers that be is to keep man tied down into limitations and false beliefs that he is not a soul, he is not independent, and he cannot sustain himself. And so the modern system being based on selfishness and ignorance and individuality and ways that are harmful. For example, so much of how people live today, we have our own cars, we have our own lawnmowers, our own equipment, with our neighbor having his own stuff as well, right? And everyone has their own stuff, and it's not communal, and they try to frame it as a sense of independence, but really, because we're all so divided, we rely upon a system for everything for us. And so the strategy of divide and conquer is super old. It's been going around for so long, and they use this back in the times of empires and kingdoms and all this old world stuff, and they've kept the same strategy. That they have just remastered it to focus it around livelihood, food, water, land, power, the basic needs that humans have to maintain a decent, a nice livelihood, to have a thriving environment. And so this is really deep, it's really subtle. It's not, yes, the wars are happening, yes, we should be praying for those suffering from disasters and things, but you have to understand that it's deeper than that. It's a spiritual warfare taking place on the material world. And so when we allow things to be this way, we become more divided as a people, and we give our power more and more to the powers that be, and that limits us and our own sovereignty to live the life that we want to live. Self-sufficiency is deeply punished by the society of today. Trying to get your own land, all the permits, all the building permits and everything, having your own power, the difficulty in that, the prices, having your own water, growing your own food. They've made such hurdles for self-sufficiency, and it's so easy to live in a city, to live on the grid, but going off grid is a giant endeavor, because they know that when you step away from the grid, when you step into your own power, they can't control you anymore, because the only power that they have over you is that which you have given them. The world wants you weak, but as spiritual warriors, we must rise up. We must reclaim our sovereignty and reclaim the people's sovereignty by helping to establish intentional spiritual communities around the world. Spiritual warriors are not just fighters. They're not just meditating people in the caves. We combine both realms. We're out in the daily battlefield of life, but we're deeply attuned to spirit and we're guided from that place. And it's not just about destroying the system. It's not just about that. It's a revolution. It's about reestablishing a way of life that is harmonious to the soul and our spiritual evolution. We've seen throughout history, the greatest warriors didn't just destroy things. The greatest ones like Sri Rama, Sri Krishna, and all of these great ones, Marcus Aurelius, etc., have been focused on building for the people, creating a way of life and protecting that way of life for the people. And so the best way as spiritual warriors that we can do battle is by creating what in our culture we call world brotherhood colonies. These are spiritually based, self-sufficient communities that are off-grid that teach world brotherhood, meaning unity amongst one another, because we're all children of the same Father, of the same God, and we recognize that in one another and we are willing to serve one another. And so our purpose today as Kshatriyas, as spiritual warriors, is to create these places, because this is the battlefield. This is the battlefield that we need to be fighting on. It is the reclaiming of our freedom, of our sovereignty, and it's about revolutionizing the way we live life today, because most people you talk to in the world, this is all they know. They think that, I have to go to work 9 to 5. I have to run this. I have to run inside this system. I have to be in this limited, confined space. And to think of something greater is being lazy. It's not being productive, and all these negative connotations that the system has created around people trying to break free. And so as Kshatriyas, as spiritual warriors, it's our duty to be on the front lines of this movement, going out to rural environments and establishing on the land, bringing people together, helping people transition from on-grid lifestyle to off-grid lifestyle, because it's what will feed their soul. It's what will allow them to be in attunement with themselves and be in alignment with a group of like-minded souls, all striving for that same upward evolution. And so this is what leads to the last point I want to touch on in this video, is that we are establishing a golden age way of life. We are bringing back the ancestral teachings. We are bringing back the eternal truths that Jesus spoke of, that Buddha spoke of, that Moses spoke of. This is beyond any just individual religion and any individual caste or creed or thought or dogma. This is a universal way of life that we can all embody. And that doesn't mean that we also lose our differences in this process because it's universal, but just the contrary. Because it's a universal science and way of life, each individual culture is able to express the uniqueness in that. Just like how there are no two snowflakes exactly the same, God has made each soul unique, but we're all still a part of the God. So there is this unity in diversity, and this diversity in unity. And that is the world that we want to create, because we need to rely upon one another. And no one's going to build this world for us, if you haven't noticed yet. The United Nations aren't. No political party of today is going to build that world for you. We have to take the initiative into our own hands and be on the frontier as spiritual warriors, as Kshatriyas, to establish this way of life, bringing about communities around this whole world. So we have some in every single country, because the masses don't know about this. The masses aren't clued into this. If you're aware of this, recognize that you have been chosen. God wants you to step up as a Kshatriya, as a spiritual warrior, and lead the charge, so to speak, to reclaim all of our sovereignty and to bring and show and be an example of another way of life, a higher way of life, a life of divine culture. And so I just want to finish off with this. No, the solution isn't just to complain about the system. It's to take proactive action by non-compliance with the system. And the way to do non-compliance with the system is to build self-sufficient sovereign communities where we don't rely on the system. That is the way to break free, is not to rely upon it. And this is what I've started doing in my last 7 years, and why I've gone forth to start creating a Kshatriya clan, which is, as I've been saying, a spiritual warrior order of people who resonate with this calling, who have been chosen, who resonate with the Rainbow Warriors, who resonate with the 144,000 to take the initiative to lead the charge in creating a new world, because chances are you realize that no one's going to do it for you. We have to do it ourselves. And if this resonates with you, if what I've said in this video speaks to you and you want to make that shift, you want to build communities, you want to be sovereign, you want to truly break free of the system, then you can learn more about my organization I'm forming and how you can get involved and how you can join us. There is a Google document and the link. There's a Google document linked in this description of the video that you can start to learn more about who we are and what we do and how it can be of help to us. Thank you for watching today's video, and remember, our sovereignty is on the line, and so always think about how you can be more independent from the system and how you can awaken others to this, because we need to not just save ourselves, but save as many sheep, so to speak. And I don't say this in a negative way, but in a way that we must honor that if we have this knowledge, it's our duty to spread this knowledge to our fellow brothers and sister souls who are like lost sheep in the wilderness. And so let us go out there, find them, awaken them to their true nature as a divine lion, as a soul, and bring them back with us to the light, to the side of good, because we need more of us, and the evil is united and the good is divided, and that's why we're losing this battle continuously. And so let us unite together, stay strong, be of love, be of peace, speak nothing but good, and until next time, peace be with you all.